Okay, so now this is going to be part 2 of our 1 meat 2 meals. We're going to use our roasted pork that you saw in our last video in the part 1, and we're going to add that to a ramen bowl. So I love going out to eat for ramen. It's one of my favorite things when you go to an Asian restaurant for ramen bowls. So I'm going to make my own ramen bowl at home. Simple, easy, quick ingredients to make a broth, and then we'll add the pork and some fresh scallions to the top, and it'll be great. So we're going to start off with just very finely dicing an onion. Onion is optional in the ramen bowl. I love onion in everything, so I add onion. But onion, when I do add it, I want it very finely chopped because I don't want big pieces of onion in my broth. I just like the flavor that it gives. But in traditional ramen bowls, you usually do not find onion, so it's totally up to you. And then we're also going to take 1 clove of garlic. And just dice that up. No real rhyme or reason to the garlic chop, just however you'd like to chop it. It's more for the flavor than anything. Alright, so now we're going to follow me over here to my pan, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're going to let that heat up here in our pan. And then we're going to just add in our onion and garlic and get a little goldenness to them. When you toast them in the pan with the olive oil, that kind of opens up the flavor of the garlic and onion so that it can be distributed throughout our broth. Okay, so now we have our onion and garlic sauteing here in the pan. You want to put this on a medium heat because we don't want to burn our garlic, and garlic easily and quickly will burn. So once we get a nice translucent color on the onions and garlic, we're going to go ahead and add in 8 cups of water. Now, once we have our 8 cups of water, I'm going to just turn this up because we do want to eventually bring this to a boil. I'm going to then add 2 chicken flavored bouillon cubes. Now, this is totally optional. Well, not optional. You need the bouillon cubes, but it's totally up to you if you'd like to use a chicken flavor or a beef flavor. Because we're using pork as the meat in our ramen bowl, it could be either way of which one you want to use as far as the flavoring. Pork can go either way with the beef or the chicken flavor. I prefer the chicken flavor also because we're going to add some oriental seasonings that are also going to give it a brown color, so we don't necessarily need the beef flavor, but it's totally up to you. If you don't eat red meat, you don't eat beef, you don't want beef flavor, you can just add the chicken. If you are vegetarian, you can ex-nay the pork and ex-nay the bouillon cubes and just add vegetable broth and just have a vegetarian ramen. But if you're watching this video and I'm making pork loin, I'm more than likely you're not a vegetarian. But just in case. Now, once we add the 2 bouillon cubes in there, we're just going to add in garlic and herb seasoning blend. And then we're going to add the 2 kickers that make this more of an Asian dish, which is 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Now, the soy sauce is going to be to taste. We're going to put 1 tablespoon in it first, and we're going to let this boil for about 10 minutes on a low rolling boil. Once we do that, we're going to taste, and then we may or may not add more soy sauce. All right, that's it. You're just going to get it. Okay, welcome to part 2 of our video of 1 meat, 2 meals. We already made a roast pork loin for our previous video, so check out the part 1. I'll link the link to the description down below, so just make sure you click on that to see part 1, which was our roasted pork loin. So as you can see, I have here some of the leftover roasted pork loin, some scallions, and some pre-cooked over here ramen noodles. So we're going to use the leftover pork, and we're going to make a ramen noodle bowl. A little while ago, we already pre-made our broths that we're going to use for this. So now it's basically just time to assemble. We're going to chop some scallions. And then I'm just gonna set that aside over here in a bowl. Okay. And then we're gonna take our pork here and we're just gonna slice that up. We're gonna kind of cube the pork. So you can kind of slice that any way you'd like, into strips or cubes. I'm just choosing to do cubes. So you can take a good amount of your leftover pork, and we're gonna go ahead and just slice all that up and set it aside. Okay, so we're gonna now just assemble our bowl. We're gonna take our bowl here, and we're gonna start with some ramen noodles as our base. Now these are just like a store packet of ramen noodles. We just didn't use like the flavor packet. We just cooked the ramen and set it aside. You're gonna go ahead and add that to your bowl. And then we're going to go ahead here and add some of the pork right there. And then we're gonna go on the side here and add the scallions. And with this traditional ramen bowl, sometimes they have a soft boiled egg, which you can also add. They have carrot, which you can also add. So it just depends on your own taste. And once you've assembled your bowl, like so, we're gonna go over here and we're just gonna grab a spoon and we're gonna add broth. We have our broth here in the bowl, in the pot that we previously made earlier. And we're just gonna spoon that right over our ramen. This is a nice broth, and make sure you watch the whole video so that you can see the recipe for the broth. And then I'll give you guys a nice close-up of our beautiful ramen bowl. Okay, so now that's our one meal, and then I'm gonna here bring out our previous meal that we made. We had the roasted vegetables along with the roasted pork. So this was our 2 meals with 1 meat. This is my favorite thing to do because making 2 meals with 1 meat is like the best way to save time and save money, which are my 2 favorite things to do. I love to save time and I love to save money. With Thanksgiving coming up, it'd be a great time to use your leftover turkey, which would be 1 meal for Thanksgiving, and then we'll show you some meals that we can make with leftover turkey. So those videos will be coming up. I love to do the 1 meat, 2 meals all the time, so just keep a lookout for those videos. Hit the links in the description to watch the part 1, and also hit the like and subscribe so you know when those next videos come out. Have a great day.